911, what is your emergency?
Oh my God, they're having a whole shootout.
So someone was shot already? So someone's shot right now in the parking lot?
Yes, in the parking lot dying.
A woman lying motionless on the pavement, a man on a balcony, gun in hand, police sirens in the distance, and a Facebook Live video capturing a terrifying confession all in real time.
Somebody come get my son first! This not finna end well for nobody, cuz.
It was supposed to be a routine morning for Arieuna Reed, a 23-year-old mother who had just dropped off her 2-year-old son, Egypt, at his father's apartment in Brown Deer, Wisconsin. But in a matter of moments, everything changed.
Hey, y'all, I just want to say I'm sorry. This is gonna be the last day everybody hear from me, bro.
As Arieuna walked away from the building, gunshots rang out. Larvell Huddleston, her ex-boyfriend and the father of her child, had emerged on his second-floor balcony with a gun. He fired, striking Arieuna in the face. She fell to the ground, her life slipping away as bystanders rushed to help. But Larvell wasn't finished. He turned his weapon on those trying to save Arieuna, killing one and injuring another. The peaceful morning had turned into a nightmare, leaving a young boy without his mother and an entire community in shock. But the details surrounding this case just keep on getting weirder and weirder.
I failed you and everybody else. Please continue to watch over my son as he live his life.
How did it come down to this? And did anyone see any signs of an impending tragedy? As the gunshots echoed through the neighborhood, a life full of promise was cut tragically short. Arieuna Reed wasn't just another victim. She was a young woman with dreams, ambitions, and a bright future ahead of her. But who was Arieuna really? What made her special to those who knew her? At just 23 years old, Arieuna had already accomplished so much. She was the youngest of 3 siblings, a daughter that any parent would be proud of. Her brother, Aruna Reed, said it best.
She was the life, you know what I'm saying? She was the life of the family. Anytime we came together, we always looked for my little sister to keep the joy going on.
But Arieuna wasn't content to rest on her laurels. She had big plans for her future, and she was working hard to make them a reality. After earning a degree from Bryant and Stratton College, Arieuna set her sights on a career in the medical field. She was working as a medical assistant and studying to become a registered nurse. Arieuna's dedication to her chosen profession was evident in everything she did. She even vlogged about her work, sharing her daily tasks with her followers.
So of course I have my heater every day that I plug in first to get it warm in my area, and then I open the lab basically and take out all of the needles and things that we lock up so people don't steal them.
But Arieuna's ambitions didn't stop there. She had an entrepreneurial spirit that drove her to pursue other ventures as well. She was in the process of establishing a side business with vending machines, showing her business acumen and determination to create multiple streams of income. Arieuna was also a content creator, using her creativity to connect with others online. Her TikTok account was filled with viral dances, scrapbooking videos, and other content that showcased her energetic personality. Yet, for all her accomplishments and aspirations, there was one role that Arieuna cherished above all others, being a mother to her young son, Egypt. Her social media was filled with posts about him, showing the world just how much she adored her little boy.
You know what happened to my heart?
What happened to your heart?
Well, when the first time I told you, when I saw you, my heart fell in love with you.
As we look back on Arieuna's life, we're left with a sense of what could have been: a promising career in nursing, a thriving business, a loving relationship with her son. All of these were within her grasp. But in one violent moment, all of that potential was snuffed out, leaving behind a grieving family, a motherless child, and a community struggling to make sense of such a senseless act. The shocking violence that erupted that morning seemed to come out of nowhere. But as investigators dug deeper into Arieuna and Larvell's relationship, they uncovered a complex history that raised troubling questions. On the surface, their relationship appeared normal. Arieuna and Larvell had been involved on and off for years, sharing a young son named Egypt.
Who fell in love first? Who's more annoying when they're hungry? Who's the homebody in the relationship? Who's more spoiled? Who's more grumpy?
To most people who knew them, there were no obvious signs of trouble. Arieuna's father even described Larvell as always being the perfect gentleman and mentioned having Bible study sessions with him. But beneath that calm exterior, tensions were simmering. The couple's on-again, off-again status hinted at underlying issues, and Larvell was struggling with demons that few people knew about.
Who's the alpha in the relationship? Who loves the other person more?
And to add to that, in a Facebook post from September 2020, he revealed, "I suffer from paranoia and PTSD, so no, I'm not normal. My environment most definitely played a major part of why I moved the way I do. Those mental health struggles didn't seem to translate into violence, at least not that anyone witnessed. Friends and family were stunned by Larvell's actions that fatal morning." Ariuna's father said that if Larvell really had any issues, he never really saw them. The lack of warning signs left loved ones reeling, searching for answers that might never come.
It's like a hole that I ain't gonna never be able to close.
But despite their rocky relationship, Arieuna and Larvell were trying to make co-parenting work for the sake of their son. It was a challenging situation that many separated couples face. Arieuna would regularly drop Egypt off at Larvell's apartment for scheduled visits, a routine that tragically put her in harm's way that fateful morning. The pressures of co-parenting constrain even the most amicable of exes. For Arieuna and Larvell, those challenges were likely amplified by their on and off history and Larvell's mental health issues, but no one could have predicted the violence that would ultimately erupt. As investigators pieced together the events leading up to that fateful morning, they found no clear motive for Larvell's actions. There were no reports of recent arguments or escalating tensions between the couple. By all accounts, Arieuna was simply dropping off their son, as she had done many times before. The lack of obvious warning signs highlights how difficult it can be to predict domestic violence. Even those closest to Arieuna and Larvell saw no indication that their relationship would end in such a horrific way. It's a reminder that abuse and violence can sometimes hide behind a facade of normalcy. In the end, Ariuna's tragic death left a community grappling with unanswered questions. How could a seemingly normal co-parenting relationship turn so deadly? What pushed Larvell to commit such a heinous act? And perhaps most heartbreakingly, how will young Egypt cope with the loss of his mother and the knowledge of what his father did? Now let's turn our attention to the events that unfolded on that one terrible morning.
911, what is your emergency?
Oh my God, they're having a whole shootout.
So someone was shot already? So someone's shot right now in the parking lot?
Yes, in the parking lot dying.
The gunshots that shattered the morning calm set off a chain reaction of chaos and tragedy. As Arieuna lay motionless on the pavement, the community around her sprang into action, but no one could have predicted the horror that was about to unfold.
It's diabolical.
Police rushed to the scene, arriving at 10:09 a.m. In response to reports of shots fired, they found a nightmarish scene, a young woman lying in the parking lot, critically injured, but the danger was far from over. As officers approached, more gunfire erupted from above. Larvell Huddleston, still on his second-floor balcony, opened fire on the police. Bullets struck a squad car, narrowly missing the officers inside. With the shooter still active, police set up a perimeter and called in tactical teams. They ordered residents to shelter in place, transforming the once peaceful apartment complex into a war zone. But amidst the chaos and danger, ordinary citizens became extraordinary heroes. Two residents of the complex, Michael Edward Anderson and Eric Lewis, showed incredible bravery in the face of death. Despite the ongoing gunfire, they rushed to Ariuna's side, desperately trying to save her life. Their selfless actions would come at a terrible cost.
I got shot.
Okay, hold on one second, don't hang up.
As Anderson and Lewis tended to Arieuna, Larvell turned his weapon on them. In a hail of bullets, 31-year-old Michael Anderson was fatally shot. Eric Lewis, 36, was hit in the leg, but thankfully managed to survive. These two men, who moments before had been going about their ordinary lives, now found themselves at the center of a tragedy, one losing his life, the other forever changed by the experience.
He was a hero. Just put it that way. The guy was a hero, and we would love to reach out to his family and let his family know that we appreciate what he tried to do.
Larvell Huddleston then made a chilling decision. He turned to social media, broadcasting his final moments to the world.
Hey, y'all, I just want to say I'm sorry. This is gonna be the last day everybody hear from me, bro.
What compelled him to go live on Facebook during such a horrific event? And what did his words reveal about his state of mind? Inside his apartment, Larvell paced back and forth, weapon in hand. The Facebook Live video captured a man on the edge, his actions incomprehensible to those watching. As police surrounded the building, Larvell's erratic behavior became even more unsettling. He spoke directly to his audience, his words a jumbled mix of prayer and desperation.
Me mentally, I've been through too much. I'm not straight, bro. I'm not crazy, but it's a lot of shit I can't take, bro.
These glimpses into his troubled psyche left viewers struggling to understand the violence that had unfolded. Larvell's actions during the live stream were equally disturbing. He flashed the clothes he wanted to be buried in, a morbid foreshadowing of what was to come.
This was my outfit that I wanted to get buried in. Nice little jacket.
And off camera, he prayed for forgiveness, his words barely audible over the chaos outside.
I know you had me so many times, and I'm sorry I couldn't. I'm sorry. I know you give your strongest battles to your strongest angels. I failed you and everybody else. Please continue to watch over my son as he lives his life. And I pray best for his mama.
But amidst the madness, Larvell's thoughts turned to his son. He asked police to safely retrieve the boy from the apartment, a moment of clarity in an otherwise senseless situation. To a friend watching the stream, he pleaded,
Sean, any money you owe me, bro, give it to her parents. Any money you owe me, give it to her parents. And always check up on my son, bro.
The video took an even darker turn when Ariuna's body was briefly visible.
Police out here. She did.
This gruesome detail, captured and shared online, added another layer of trauma for her grieving family and friends. As the standoff continued, Larvell's actions grew more desperate. He fired at officers from his balcony, bullets striking a squad car, but miraculously missing the officers inside. The tension grew with each passing minute, viewers unable to tear themselves away from the unfolding tragedy. Larvell's Facebook Live video quickly went viral, spreading across social media platforms, even after it was deleted from his page. The impact was immediate and far-reaching. Some viewers, moved by his apparent mental health struggles, offered words of support and understanding. This outpouring of empathy, however misplaced, sparked outrage from Ariuna's family. Her cousin took to Facebook, condemning those who showed support for Larvell. He went on live to get y'all to feel bad for him, because that's what abusers, manipulators, and gaslighters do, she wrote. He did what he did because he couldn't live with what he did, not because of mental health. The incident highlighted the complex role social media plays in criminal events. Larvell's live stream provided a raw, unfiltered look into his final moments, but it also raised ethical questions about the sharing and viewing of such content. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what happened in the aftermath of this tragedy, and let's just say that, although the case itself is pretty straightforward, the plot only thickens from now on. As investigators pieced together the events of that tragic day, they discovered this wasn't the first time Larvell had used social media to discuss his mental health. His earlier Facebook posts, largely overlooked at the time, now took on a chilling new significance. They painted a picture of a troubled man, his inner demons hidden behind a facade of normalcy, until that fateful morning when they erupted in an explosion of violence. In the end, Larvell's Facebook confession left more questions than answers. It offered a disturbing glimpse into his final moments, but provided little clarity on why he committed such a heinous act. For Ariuna's family and the community left behind, the video was just another painful reminder of the tragedy that had torn their world apart.
We are hurting so bad.
2-year-old Egypt, once cradled in the loving arms of his mother, now faced a future without her. The tragic events of that morning left more than just a community in shock. They shattered a family, leaving a young boy to navigate a world suddenly turned upside down. Egypt, mercifully unharmed during the violent outburst, found himself at the center of a tragedy he was too young to understand. His father, Larvell, was in police custody. His mother, Arieuna, was gone forever. In the blink of an eye, this innocent child lost both his parents. His world forever changed. The weight of this loss fell heavily on Ariuna's parents, Aaron and Tracy Reed. In an instant, they were thrust into a role they never expected, raising their grandson. The couple, still reeling from the loss of their daughter, now faced the daunting task of providing stability and love for Egypt in the wake of unimaginable tragedy. The Reeds' new reality was a stark contrast to the future they had envisioned. Instead of watching their daughter raise her son, they now found themselves taking on the role of parents once again. The family dynamics shifted dramatically, with Egypt's uncle, Aaron Reed, stepping up to help care for his young nephew. The impact of losing both parents in such a violent manner is something Egypt will grapple with for years to come. As he grows, questions will inevitably arise. How do you explain to a child that his father took his mother's life? How do you help him process such a profound loss?
A beautiful young man has to go on without his parents. I'm shattered right now. I don't know what to do. I lost my beautiful angel.
The challenges facing the Reed family extended beyond the emotional toll. Practical concerns loomed large. How would they provide for Egypt's needs? How would they ensure he had every opportunity his mother would have wanted for him? In response to these concerns, the family launched a GoFundMe campaign. The goal was twofold: to help with Ariuna's funeral costs and to support Egypt as he grows up. The campaign became a lifeline, a way for the community to rally around this young boy and his grieving family. As news of the tragedy spread, the community rallied around Egypt and the Reed family. A vigil was held, not just to honor Arieuna and the other victims, but to show support for those left behind. It was a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of times, compassion and unity can provide a glimmer of hope. The road ahead for Egypt and his grandparents will be long and challenging. There will be milestones missed, questions that can't be fully answered, and a sense of loss that may never completely fade. But in the face of this tragedy, the Reed family's love for Egypt shines through. They are determined to give him the best life possible, to honor Arieuna's memory by raising her son with all the love and care she would have given him. As the community struggled to make sense of the tragedy, questions arose about how this could have happened. Were there warning signs that everyone missed? Could this senseless act of violence have been prevented? The truth is, there were red flags in Larvell Huddleston's past that painted a troubling picture, but a perfect storm of systemic failures and missed opportunities allowed those warning signs to go unaddressed. Let's rewind to October 2020. Over a year before the shooting, Larvell was charged with carrying a concealed weapon, a misdemeanor offense that should have raised alarm bells. But due to COVID-related backlogs in the court system, that case was still pending when Larvell pulled the trigger on that fateful day. In hindsight, it's a pretty chilling detail, a glimpse of the danger that was lurking beneath the surface. And when you think about it, the delay wasn't just a minor inconvenience, it was a critical missed opportunity to intervene. If the case had been processed more quickly, could it have changed the course of events? We'll never know for sure, but it's a question that haunts those involved. These weren't just empty words, they were a desperate plea from a troubled man, a glimpse into the turmoil that would eventually lead to tragedy. But in a world where mental health struggles are often stigmatized or ignored, Larvell's cry for help went unanswered.
Yeah, so I've been dealing with a lot, but ain't nothing finna justify my actions, bro. I've been dealing with a lot. I've been being played with mentally, all type of shit. I'm not the right person, bro. Me mentally, like, I've been through too much.
The systemic failures extended beyond just Larvell's case. Domestic violence and intimate partner homicides are a plague that disproportionately affects Black women. A 2019 study found that of Black victims who knew their offenders, 60% were wives, common law wives, ex-wives, or girlfriends of the offenders. Even more shocking, 93% of the homicides of Black women were intraracial. These statistics aren't just numbers. They represent real lives lost, families shattered, and communities torn apart. And they point to a larger failure in how we address domestic violence and mental health issues. Experts and advocates have long called for early intervention and comprehensive support systems. This includes better access to mental health services, improved legal responses, and community support programs. But too often, these calls fall on deaf ears. In Larvell's case, the missed opportunities continued right up until the end. During his final Facebook live stream, he laid bare his mental anguish.
Me mentally, like, I've been through too much. I'm not straight, bro. I'm not crazy, but it's a lot of shit I can't take.
It was a chilling confession, but also a stark reminder of the mental health crisis that continues to grip our communities. How many other Larvells are out there, struggling silently, their cries for help going unheard? As we look back on this tragedy, it's clear that no single intervention could have guaranteed a different outcome, but each missed opportunity, each systemic failure, brought us one step closer to that terrible morning. The question now is, what will we do to prevent the next tragedy? The shots that rang out that morning echoed far beyond Brown Deer, Wisconsin. They were a wake-up call, forcing us to confront the harsh realities of domestic violence and mental health crises in our communities. Arieuna's story wasn't just a tragedy, it was a stark reminder of how quickly things can unravel when warning signs go unheeded. Could this tragedy have been avoided? And if so, how? Please feel free to voice your opinion down in the comment section below. As we wrap things up, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, stay safe.